Okay, our last degree tonight will be the 12th degree, Master Architect. You should seek wisdom through knowledge is the basic tenet of the degree, and here is the Tresner intro.
The ceremonies of this degree are brief, but its significance is profound. Here you are taught the symbolic meanings of the Master Architect's tools, the most important of which instructs us to solve the great problems presented by the universe, to know and understand the lofty truths of philosophy, and to communicate it freely to others, particularly by our actions. Only the best and wisest in us and among us should rule. For if it be any other, the low and the ignoble will prevail, and will soon overcome. Now, brethren, hear what you shall hear, and attend to the 12th degree, Master Architect.
Well, what a timely introduction if you've watched the news very often. But the Master Architect degree is centered around the symbol of the lodge. Like Dr. Tresner says, it's a short degree, but extremely profound. You have the 5 orders of architecture that you'll remember from the Fellowcraft degree represented and present. The Tuscan represents the first 3 symbolic lodges, the Doric, the ineffable degrees, 4 through 14, and so on and so forth. For individuals like me who think a lot about the symbolism, where these degrees come from, what they might mean at a deeper level, I, for instance, see the 5 mystery schools of ancient Greece represented in those 5 orders of architecture. You may see that, you may not. That's up to you, and it's up to how far you want to pursue it. But I've always said, what you put into these is what you'll get out of them. There's so much in the 12th degree to study and learn. You could spend months doing it. I am just going to read you a 2-paragraph synopsis in lieu of a communication. And then again, as with any of these things, I recommend that you read A Bridge Builder's Guide by Hutchins. There is a wonderful book by Kyle Furlman, In This Valley, that is worth looking at. And with the upcoming education programming, we want to see all of you involved as much as you want to be to explore these degrees, look at the symbolism, do what it is that you want to do, and get what you want out of them. So regarding Master Architect, the 12th degree is a quantum leap into the more subtle and creative class of Scottish Rite degrees beyond the spirit of the first 3 blue degrees, just as Scotch Master or Architect degree was superimposed in 1743 on the 3 operative degrees. And we can talk about that in the future if you have an interest in that kind of Masonic history. Here the Mason begins to rise from the earth towards the stars. His soul, which so far has struggled towards the light, towards God and the infinite, wakens his slumbering consciousness and leads to more divine light. Here we feel the fundamental distinction between the sensorial and intellectual knowledge of phenomena and appearances, the simple understanding of dualistic relationship between object and subject and wisdom, which is knowledge as an experiential feel of an absolute one. The Master Architect's supreme ambition is to eat the fruit of the tree of knowledge, which makes his consciousness one with God's Spirit. The 12th degree teaches wisdom and how knowledge and contemplation give access to it. Creation is full of wonders. The major one is a divine aspect of human nature which is endowed by its creator with the soul, will, and mind required to discover these wonders. However, ignorance and absent-mindedness impede such discovery. Human suffering, however, often gives man a dire opportunity to realize the treasures he has lost through calamity. Why then should we wait for such misfortune, when we can enjoy the divine bliss of life through appropriate willful action? Such action is triggered by the tenets of Masonry, whose ultimate objective is to use man's precious mind for him, to commune with God's Spirit, and thereby understand and even feel the essential reality of creation and man's existence, and the ultimate purpose of his life, which is to fuse onto God's oneness. This is the most effective seed to better produce man on earth and subsequently a better society. This is salvation in the Scottish Rite sense. I want you to think about alchemy. We think of alchemy as turning lead into gold, but that was never the case. That was just a metaphor. Alchemy is about turning something of lesser value into something of greater value. And you find this replete from Japan to England and everywhere in Eurasia in medieval history. Something of lesser value turned into something of greater value, always by finding your balance, your place in the universe. You put your place where you belong, you put yourself where you belong in the universe, and you ought to grow into who you ought to be. That's what we seek to do in Scottish Rite.